Okay, I want to talk for a second about how so many folks in my comments over the last couple of days, especially on YouTube, hang on, I have to sneeze. Ooh, okay, sorry, y'all, my allergies are raging today. It's really tough to be a gardener and have bad allergies. Anyway, why is it that so many of y'all in my comments are giving Donald Trump and the fascist Republican Party a victory that they have not yet earned, or stolen, or taken, or however you want to define it? Why are so many of y'all in my comments saying it is inevitable that this big nasty budget bill is going to pass? Comment after comment after comment, they're going to push it through. It's going to happen. What is this defeatism that I see from Democrats and leftists? I will never understand it. Like, something about my personality, like, I just cannot get on board with defeatism. I cannot get on board with giving any of my power to the fascists in advance. I am not willing to cede the future to the fascists. And when y'all say, like, oh, this bill's going to pass, there's nothing we can do, they've got the power, they've got the votes, they've got the numbers. Do you remember during Trump's first administration when Trump and Mitch McConnell and all of the Republicans said that their number one goal was to repeal the Affordable Care Act? They were going to get it done. That was their big victory. They were going to yank the Affordable Care Act because they tried to make it sound like socialism, even though it was providing affordable health care to millions of Americans. And it's interesting, at that time, and even now in 2025, when you ask Americans what they think of Obamacare, Republicans have a negative view of Obamacare. But when you explain to them, did you know that the Affordable Care Act, the marketplace through which you buy your insurance, did you know that that is Obamacare? A lot of Republicans have really believed the propaganda of Fox News, and they don't understand that they get their health insurance through the Affordable Care Act, which is Obamacare. By the way, I think a lot of those folks are in for a real rude surprise, because they're going to find out that not only are there giant cuts to Medicaid and Medicare in this big, nasty, bloated budget bill, there's also cuts to the Affordable Care Act, particularly subsidies and funding for people to be able to purchase their plans on the marketplace. A lot of y'all who are self-employed, all of you entrepreneurial, small business, libertarian Republicans who get your health insurance through the marketplace, it's going to be a rude surprise for you. So during Trump's first administration, they made it sound like an inevitability. We're going to get this done. It's going to happen. We have all the power and all the control. We are going to get rid of the Affordable Care Act. Nothing y'all can do about it. And guess what? Tremendous grassroots organization and lobbying. What did it do? What did it do? What do we still have today? We still have the Affordable Care Act. And in fact, it was an 11th hour John McCain decision that saved the Affordable Care Act. Advocates like Indivisible, which formed during the first Trump administration, and a lot of their advocacy and work at that time was centered around saving the Affordable Care Act. They didn't give up. What if they had given up, 3 days in advance of the final vote? What if they'd given up 24 hours in advance of the final? What if they'd given up weeks in advance of the final vote? Instead, they were like, no, we're not going to give this victory to the Republicans. We will fight until the very end. And as a result, they saved the Affordable Care Act. It was tremendous public pressure, tremendous organizing that got Republican officials, got John McCain to refuse to vote to defund and dismantle the ACA. It's not over as long as we keep fighting. They cannot win as long as we keep fighting. Please understand that when you say defeatist things like, oh, it's going to pass, it's inevitable, it's going to happen, you are giving them a victory in advance. You are ceding your power to them. You are handing over your power. You are letting the fascists write the future of this country. Why would you do that? Why would you do that? I cannot wrap my brain around it. I cannot comprehend what is going on inside the heads of people who just willingly give up their power, who willingly say, this fight is already over, it's already all decided, when that's not true. That's not true. And we know that so many victories are claimed at the last moment. It is those who, you're running that race, there's all of those videos of races where someone thinks they're in first place and they slow down that final stretch, and there's somebody who comes up from behind who is giving it 110% all the way to the finish line. And they don't believe, that person is way in the back, they don't believe that they've lost yet. They are still envisioning their victory in their head. They are still giving it their all. They are not giving up the fight, even though this person is way ahead. Now this person's comfortably, zoom, they win, right? So why are we acting like the Republicans here are inevitable and their plans are going to happen and that they're going to cross the finish line first? We're back here, but actually we're like right up here. Zoom. Like we need to have the follow through. We need to continue to push. We need to continue to believe. We need to continue to advocate, because the future is not yet written. The future does not belong to the fascists. And we would be foolish. We'd be hurting ourselves, hurting our children, hurting this country. We would be hurting the entire, like, y'all, the devastation that will be caused by this regime if we lay down and let them steamroll us. Like, why would we give them that, right? We know how terrible it's going to be if they get their way, if nobody stands in opposition to them. So why on earth would we hand that over to them? Why would we let them write that future and craft that terrible, terrible reality for all of us and for our children? Yeah, it fucking sucks right now, you guys. I don't want to diminish that fact. I don't want to diminish the fact that the work is really hard and we are having to give of our resources and our skills and our time and our labor when we don't want to be doing this. None of us wants to be doing this work, but it's still what is required of us. This is the time in which we are living, right? This is the thing that we have to do. And maybe this is where I'm a little bit different. I was raised in a family where it was very much like, well, this is a thing that's happening now. And I absolutely have that mindset. Some measure of radical acceptance of like, this is a thing that I have to go through to get where I need to go. I am not going to give them the power and the victory. I know what I want as an outcome. And so I have to have acceptance about what that means in terms of the work and the sacrifice and the potential discomfort that I have to go through to get where I need to go, right? I've likened it in the past to labor pains, right? If you can accept that what you're experiencing when you are in labor is the process of birthing your child, it makes it easier to have some radical acceptance about how difficult and painful that experience is. This is a thing that I'm going through now. There's nothing I can do to stop it. However, at the end of this, I get a beautiful, healthy baby that I can love and nurture and care for. What we're going through now sucks, but we have to do the labor. We have to labor right now to get the outcome that we want. And we cannot in advance give up this fight to the fascists. So I know even when the odds are stacked against us, there is a comfort in defeatism that says, I don't have to work, I don't have to fight, I don't have to struggle. I can be that person who doesn't have to feel my muscles burning in the race. I don't have to have my chest on fire, my lungs on fire as I am pushing with every ounce of my being to cross that finish line first. I can just say, nah, I won't expend that effort. I get it. That's why defeatism is easier. It's comfortable. It doesn't require as much of you. It is a arguably lazier, easier position to embrace. But I've said it before and I'll say it again, y'all, we're better than that. We need to toughen up. We are far more capable of fighting this fight, and we should not be giving the fascists power that they don't have. We should not be giving them victories that they are not going to take away from us. And when we have setbacks, that doesn't mean that it's over. It doesn't mean that we are defeated. And right now, this budget bill is in play, y'all. It's in play. We are watching Republicans, both in the House and the Senate, who have already said they will not support it. We are watching Republicans waffling because there is tremendous pressure from the public, much like what happened during the Affordable Care Act attempt to repeal, right? We need to keep the pressure on. Now is not the time that we say, this is going to pass, it's going to happen. We've got to just resign ourselves. No, y'all, don't do that. You are better than that. You are stronger than that. We absolutely still have power and influence here. Do not let them tell you that you can't, persuade them. Don't let them tell you that your pressure on your electeds doesn't matter. Don't let them tell you that your contribution doesn't mean anything, that your voice doesn't mean anything. That's not true. That's not true. It made all of the difference back during the first Trump administration, and it makes all of the difference now. They tell you that you don't have the power because they know that you do. They would not be freaking out so hard and trying so hard to get you to be quiet and back down if you couldn't stop them. They would not be trying to silence you if your voice didn't matter. Honestly, I think one of the things that will make the biggest difference in your life and in the opposition to fascism and in the future of this country is cultivating the discipline to not give up in advance, to refuse to give up your power, your future, your children's future, the vision for America, to jealously, zealously guard our future and our rights from the fascists, to refuse to give them victory and power in advance. I really feel like that is a discipline that is worth cultivating, and it will make a huge difference in your endurance and contribution in the fight against fascism, and it will make a difference in the outcome. Whatever you need to do to nurture that mindset, to feed that worldview and that outlook, please do it. I'll say it one more time. Do not hand them a victory. The fascists do not get to write the future. We do.